Most of us are restless about rest. The things that leave us with nothing to do, even for just a few minutes, are seen as wasted, dead time, a frustrating delay. A lot of us associate rest with laziness because we feel we aren't making the most of the time that we have. But that very idea is rooted in the fear of not having enough time. It's rooted in scarcity, in not having enough. We feel guilty about resting, not because it's instinctual, but because some of us were raised in a culture that glorifies achievement and being busy, that our worth is inherently tied to what we do and how we spend our time. But that can't be farther from the truth. We are worthy and beautiful just being here now. Being is enough. Socrates once wrote, "Beware the barrenness of a busy life." When we don't rest enough, when we don't carve time for rest and silence, we miss out on the in-betweens of life, the contrast between doing versus not doing. But rest isn't a luxury. It's a necessary essential, and one that needs to be valued and prioritized in order to live a healthy, vibrant, and positive life. I allow my mind to wander. I give myself permission not to do or achieve anything, and I allow myself to daydream, because I notice that when I'm well rested and when I've really taken that time to rest and imagine and daydream and just do nothing, that I explode with a desire, an innate desire to create and do things after I'm rested. That rest is essential for the dominoes to follow. I encourage you, if you are seeking more rest and silence in your life, to make a conscious effort to allow yourself that restful time. You don't have to check your emails once you sit down on your commuter train. You don't have to pop in on Instagram and check in on what everyone else is doing while you're in line at the grocery store. You can look out the window and daydream, people watch, doodle, stare into space, and appreciate those spare moments of empty space. Nature heals both our bodies and our minds. Spend time outdoors every single day, even if it's just 20 minutes, and even if you live in a city. Take a brisk walk around your neighborhood or venture to a nearby park on your lunch break. If you have a choice on where to travel for your next holiday, go out to the mountains, spend time in nature. One study has found that walks in the forest lead to decreased levels of anxiety and bad moods, that nature helps our bodies fight off infections and increases our immune systems. Anytime that I notice I begin to fall into a rut, I immediately go outside for a walk, and I feel so much better afterwards.
Even if it's just 10 minutes, I always feel so much better. Connect with the senses. One thing that really grounds and connects me back to the present moment is connecting deeply with my 5 senses. Be in your body. Celebrate your sensuality. Inhale the steam of a hot shower. Feel the warm cup of cocoa in your hands. Appreciate it. Connect with the soil barefoot. Move your body to the pleasure of your soul in however way that feels good to you. Fully feel your feet as it touches the earth. Going outside and being barefoot is something I am so passionate about, which is why I am so excited to share that today's video is brought to you by my very, very first sponsor, and one that I'm super, super excited to share with you, Wildling Shoes. Wildling has created minimal shoes to help you walk in harmony with the way your body was designed to walk, allowing your joints to move freely and naturally. These shoes really take on the shape of your foot, not the other way around as often conventional shoes do. I got my first pair of pink Hanimi shoes and I just love how light I feel in them. Walking in them feels more mindful, soft, airy and gentle, and I love that it's a shoe that minimizes the restriction of my natural movement, but also protects my feet from injuries. You're basically barefoot, but with protection. They're made in Portugal and they're made of flexible and mostly natural materials like cotton, washi, hem, and linen. And I felt the difference immediately upon trying them on, and I wear them everywhere. In the city, hiking in the mountains, everywhere. I hope you love them as much as I do. I don't often share products unless I really, really love them and use them and am passionate about them. And I am legit going to be buying myself a second pair because they feel that amazing. Feel free to check out their website. I will include a link in the description as well as in the comments below if you feel called to try them.
If you live in a city, make it a regular habit to venture to a nearby park. Sit on the grass, look up at the foliage, bring a book, and just be there with the trees, connect with the plants. Such a little thing, but when you carve out the time to go out into nature, to put your phone away and just listen to the sounds of the birds, listen to the sounds of the trees, it is so healing and so rejuvenating. Even simply just looking at a picture of nature or watching a nature documentary or even changing the screensaver on your phone with like a picture of flowers or trees, evidence has shown that that's very healing and it can provide you some of the same effects that being out in nature can. Those small moments, those small pockets of time where you could be scrolling, you could be checking your email on your phone, but no, you're choosing to people watch, you're choosing to look out the window, to look at the scenery around you, to take in the life and the park and the beauty. When you take in those few minutes, it does wonders to your mind and your overall mental health. I really encourage replacing any type of scrolling or busy work with looking around you and just being present. And you know, if you're physically exhausted after your workday, if you're physically feeling drained and tired, it is absolutely fine to flop down on the couch and zone out for a little bit. So as long as you're consuming content that uplifts you and inspires you and it makes you feel good, that's fine. And another thing to note is I really recommend setting an intention when you're going to zone out and like tune out for a few minutes. You could say, I'm gonna scroll on my phone for 15 minutes. I'm gonna flop down on my couch and watch a couple episodes of this show for an hour. Setting that intention of how long you're gonna numb yourself out, I think is really, really important when it comes to rest. If you are stressed out or worried or your mind is overwhelmed by something, instead of scrolling or escaping through television, video games, or media, I really recommend going outside for a walk instead. Replace that 30-minute episode with a 30-minute walk. And trust me, you will feel so much better once you've gone outside and just gotten some fresh air. Like, it really, really works.
Silence scares people. It's an increasingly unknown phenomenon to many people. We distract ourselves constantly to the point that quiet introspection is becoming increasingly non-existent. With the amount of music, podcasts, media, television we're consuming on a daily basis, it's no wonder that the word noise derives from the word nausea. It takes courage to be silent. There is this tension and darkness that can arise when we have quiet introspection. But silence gives us an opportunity to deepen our relationship with ourselves, our inner voice, and it gives us a chance at honest reflection and awareness. 2 minutes of silence is more relaxing than listening to relaxing music, studies have shown. And 2 hours of silence every day leads to new cells in the hippocampus. And this just shows that an absence of input proves to have more impact than any actual input. And this just goes to show that the brain needs time of idleness when it doesn't have to react to any demanding external stimuli. The internet is still very new in the grand scheme of life, and because it's so new, we aren't taught how to navigate and consume it. But I encourage you, dear friend, to cut down on the amount of sounds, social media, stimulation that you consume, as well as the time watching media. Whether that be YouTube, streaming services, podcasts, whatever you consume, I encourage you to limit it just a bit. Don't say yes to more things when you have already overcommitted yourself. Just do what is essential. Do what is life-giving. Ask for help in the areas that deplete you and remove the rest. Ask for support. Delegate when necessary. This requires immense self-love and strength and self-discipline, but it's one of the most important aspects of living simply and slowly. Instead of being stressed or annoyed by a train delay, rebrand that as a gift, a chance to enjoy some restful moments. Now, if you're someone with a lot of family responsibilities, kids, work obligations, and so forth, and still don't think that you have time, I hear you. And I also urge you to look out for those spare, quiet moments in your busy day because they are there. And many of us aren't using those spare minutes effectively, but instead we're constantly thinking of the things on our to-do list, the next steps, instead of taking a moment to breathe. We also have to accept that sometimes our to-do lists are never ending, and that's okay. This is part of life. Things pop up, people request things of us last minute, but the most important takeaway from this is to remind yourself that you will get to those tasks. It is not needed right away, and in the meantime, you can take a few minutes to breathe, a few minutes to just breathe and replenish and rest your soul.
When I talk about rest, it doesn't mean having a bubble bath or sleeping or napping or, zoning out on the couch all the time. It could mean finding pockets of silence and stillness in your day that you can really rejuvenate yourself. And that could even look like parking in the back of the parking lot instead of in the front near the store so that you can get those 10 extra minutes. It might seem small and it might seem like a little bit of a waste of time, but those 10 extra minutes of walking quietly to the store shower, getting some fresh air, allowing your brain space to reflect and ponder, those 10 minutes are crucial. For example, if you shower every day, instead take a bath 1 or 2 days a week. If you're always driving, take public transportation, bike, or walk if you can. One of the things that I've been playing with this week while I've been writing my ebook, my slow living guide, which I will include in the description box below, I have been taking runs. Every 45 minutes of writing, I will go out for a 10-minute sprint around my neighborhood. And that has helped me so much, because I find that when running or dancing or getting in that cardio, that moment of stillness that happens right after exercise, it feels so quiet and so still, and I feel so present after a run. I feel that runner's high initially after ending my run, but then there's this like moment of stillness and this spaciousness in my mind, and I feel so much better. And now for one of my most important tips, something that I think about and I use on a regular basis. Zoom out and see the world big picture. Imagine planet Earth floating in midair and you're on it, and how big and expansive this universe is. We are here and then we are gone. Your only job is to have fun and enjoy yourself while you're here. Well, these are the ways that I value rest, and I find restful moments in my own life. I always recommend you to look within yourself for the answers that are right for you. What are the activities that you find most restful for you? The activities that rejuvenate you and restore you back to your natural energy. Take note of those things, write them down if you want, and start slowly incorporating them into your everyday and finding those restful moments of pause and silence, because they're there, they're everywhere, but it takes conscious effort to notice them and to prioritize them and to make them part of our day. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up for me and hit that notification bell if you'd like to see more videos from me in the future. I hope you are having a magical day, my friends, and I will see you next week here on The Simple Joys. Bye!